Can everybody see the PowerPoint?
Yes.
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 Okay. Thanks to the other person, have they already joined or?
Yes, they're here. It was Summer.
Hey,
Suzanne.
sorry, we were having internet issues.
That's fine. We
It's okay.
Oh, I'm trying to get my stuff together here, get this little box out my way. Okay, there you go. Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody to this training, and it is called Jump on the Bandwagon. Our objectives are learn how to integrate music, movement, and drama into the curriculum, use the classical arts to provide children with an outlet to express their emotions and creativity, and learn how by implementing the classical arts into the classroom that you can intentionally stimulate brain development. So we have activities that was in the face-to-face that we'll be doing. So this one here is like a pantomime game, and you can do this with your kids as well. I'm gonna show you a picture, a set of words, and let me say this for once. Everybody has to participate. If you just participate here and there, but we need all participation from all the providers, please. So a card you will hold up, you will have them say, like say, I did not do it. So someone show me how you would demonstrate that, just using body language.
What was the card again? Can you hold that back up?
Yeah.
I did not mean to do it. Okay, Miss Deborah? Okay.
Shaking your head.
I didn't mean to do it.
Shaking your head, okay.
No.
Nope, okay. Here's another one, says hooray.
Hooray!
And are these showing correctly to y'all?
Yes.
Like y'all?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm just making sure.
Ladies, just so you know, sometimes you can't see your emotion if you don't, everybody has their own view and they won't be able to see the emotion, so you have to say something.
I'm only seeing like one person. I can't see you. I'm actually looking at you from my daughter's computer. But mine is kind of like, it's only giving me like one person at a time. It keeps clicking. But on the Apple one, I have a Toshiba, but on my Apple one, it shows everybody on there. But on this one, it's not showing. But
Okay, so Sarita can do her training. What you have to do is go up to the top and where it says speaker view, gallery view. You want to click gallery view and it's going to show, it's going to put that on there. You're just going to have to play with it to do that. But just for this training so that you know, make sure you say something if we're doing motion so that Sarita knows who's saying something.
okay.
Thank you.
Okay, the next one is say good job.
Hey.
Clap, clap.
Ooh, good job.
Y'all
Okay.
can't see y'all, but now. Okay, good job.
Here's another one. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
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 Some of them give them the little puppy face, like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, they will give a puppy face, the
Yep.
sad face. We're going to do one more. Let's see. Here's a good one. I'm telling.
I have a kid that does this.
Oh,
It's telling on you.
Move
Yeah.
that finger. I'm telling.
Use that finger.
Yep, pointing the finger.
So this is something that you can do in your classroom as well. They may not be able to read the words, but you can read it to them, and that's a part of drama. And that's what we're talking about, adding drama and arts and music into the classroom. So Albert Einstein said the most beautiful thing we can experience is the mysterious. It is the source of all true art and science. Excuse me. Early childhood exposure to the classical arts can create new neural pathways and fortify those that are already present. Why are activity with music, movement, drama, and the arts so successful with young children? Want to answer that for me? So the question was, why are activity with music, movement, drama, and the arts so successful with young children?
Because it helps to
Kids
they
are not better with music and movement, Like, I think it was something like kids was born with like when they hear beat and music, it automatically moves certain people. You know, some kids or those people.
Okay, give them movement. They can feel the beat. Anybody else got something to add?
Children aren't as intimidated.
They do what now?
Yeah.
Children aren't as intimidated to dance and do music and movement as we are as adults.
Yes, and why
Yeah,
is
they don't
that?
have any reservations.
That's true. They're more likely to dance before we will because we are thinking about what are people saying, how are they looking at us, why are we moving the way we move. And some of us just don't have rhythm. And some kids, they don't have it, but once you get in there with them, you start dancing, y'all dancing, having fun, they will forget all about. You can't have no rhythm. You will forget about you not having any rhythm. Anybody else got anything else to add to that before we move on?
It allows them to be creative.
Allows them to be creative, yes. You can't just tell them just to do the swim. That's not their own movement. So be creative with it. Put on the music, let them dance. Anything else? So through activity with the arts, children learn to express the mysterious. They're rapidly growing, understanding their thoughts and their feelings. Excuse me. The process of making art allows the art to give image, word, sound, or movement to something that is often intangible. That is what young children do every day. They are born artists and scientists. Young children explore the arts with both a creative and a scientific eye. The artist in them searches for creative expression, and the scientists figure out the way to do it. Our role is to provide them with the materials and inspiration, then to stand back and let them go. That's what we as educators got to understand, that once we put that music on, we put that art out there, we need to let them have their way. We can't expect to put a picture of an apple out there and be like, draw this apple, this red apple. They're going to be able to draw the apple, and they should be able to have any color apple they want. So who allows their children to have free exploration when it comes to art of any form? Okay, Ms. Summer.
I do.
I'm trying to see everybody as I'm talking to you, so just bear with me if I'm just looking around. Okay, yes, that's what it's all about.
You're asking a question, who should be allowed or who allows them to have the freedom?
Who allows them to have freedom? Because I've been with a teacher before that you put this apple on the table, and because most apples are red, she like, color this apple red.
Oh, children need to have the creativity to explore,
Yes.
to learn.
Exactly. We know apples aren't purple. There go your teachable moment. Because beforehand, you're going to talk about your apples. You're talking about the different colors of your apples. That's where you're hoping that they're getting that language in. They're listening to you draw the color apples red, yellow, or green. But if they color it purple, that's fine. They're just stepping outside the box. We as adults, we step outside the box every now and then, sometimes a little bit too much. So we need to let our kids do it. It's okay. We can bring them back another day. So today we'll be talking about how we can use drama, music, and art in a way that help children to express themselves. People all ages tend to remember things better when they do them. So say people remember 10% of what they read, 20% of what they hear, 30% of what they see, 50% of what they see and hear, and 90% of what they see, hear, and do. So why do you think the 90% is so high?
Because you're physically using all your mental capabilities in your brains, all stimulus, touch, sound, occasionally even taste, and physical. It's all there. So it gets into your brain multiple ways.
Exactly. Because if I'm looking at you doing it, I'm not going to pick up as much. If I hear you telling me how to do it, I'm not going to pick it up as much. So if you put it all together, I see you do it, I get to do it, I hear you, and I'm talking to you back and forth, then I'm going to remember it better. And I think that's what with all kids. Like we said again, you can talk to them about that apple, you can tell them about that apple, till they let them get there and experience the apple for themselves, they would never know. Any questions so far? So we're going to talk about Jerome Singer for a little bit. His theory highlights the importance of children's imagination and curiosity can be developed through dramatic and social dramatic play. He described the ability to engage in make-believe, Yeah, excuse me. In make-believe play is essential to children developing ability for internal imagery, stimulating curiosity, and experiment with alternative responses to different situations. This capacity practice in play settings enhances children's ability to engage successfully in new situations. He also found that development and demonstration of a young child's imagination can also be influenced by a range of environmental factors. This include the development of a child's language development, the young child's family situation, exposure to stressful situations, opportunity to role play and immerse themselves in make-believe dramatic play, the development of a child's cognitive skills, development of the physical skills, development of the social and emotional and normal skills, the play environment, opportunities for different types of play and play experiences, the human environment such as the adults. So according to the National Association for the Education of Young Children, performing arts like drama, music, and dance can boost learning in non-art subjects. So we know that children love to pretend, and drama is an excellent way to learn by doing it. Centers the child as an active participant in the learning process instead of just passive observer. It promotes cognitive, emotional, physical, and social development and can be used to teach a wide range of subjects. And your child does not have to be a future Oscar winner to reap the benefits of preschool drama. So we're going to take a look at how drama games for preschoolers promote early learning. And when we do drama in the classroom, it do not have to be staged. They can be over there in the dramatic play area, putting on a superhero suit. You have your drama because they're going through, they're flying, they got on Superman or whatever. So it don't have to be where you got to set up a stage. You got to have everybody have character, be in character. Just let them have free will. So what do you think are some benefits of art education for children?
They get to express themselves.
They get to express themselves, okay?
They get to express themselves by learning different roles. I've got kids who like to play doctors, and they will dramatize between each other, who's the doctor, who's the patient, and they will go through life experiences doing that.
Okay.
They develop fine motor skills.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Helps get out extra energy, just especially on rainy days.
It's out the extra energy, yes. Anybody has anything else to add?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what they say. So cognitive development, what you think they get for cognitive development from the arts?
They're using their imagination.
Using their imagination.
They're developing in different ways to think about different situations, different objects, and different ways of doing things.
Okay. Anybody want to add anything?
That's what I was about to say, like when they get ready, well, I know when they get ready to do certain tasks, they think about it like, I'm going to run this fast, or I'm going to jump here, and I'm going to, you know.
Yes, they're telling you what they're going to do. And they would tell you, look at me run fast. And you got to sit down and watch them run fast, whether it's slow, super fast, or they're just doing a leisurely walk. So I'll say lesson about animals could include mimicking the sounds and behaviors of dogs, cats, horses, and other creatures. Acting out the content helps children understand new skills and concepts by practicing them hands-on. It also encourages them to use their imagination to develop original ideas. So it's a game that you can play in your center, in your classroom. And this one here, I'm going to call on people to do it. It's called Animal Charades. So I'm going to put my screen all the way back to the beginning so I can go in order. So Miss LaToya, you're the first one on my list. When I show you the animal, I need you to make that sound, mimic the sound, or mimic, excuse me, how they move. Everybody got it?
Yes.
Okay. And you have the sheet, Miss LaToya. I know it. I just pulled it off the top.
She really don't make a sound. It just, yeah, it does.
Somebody got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at that teamwork. And you will have some kids, you may not know it, the sound, but somebody's going to know a sound. Like we was reading a book for Dr. Seuss Week, And I really still can't remember some kind of fish. I left this fish, but the who?
Narwhal.
Yeah, that one that
Narwhal.
Sonya said.
Yeah, the narwhal.
No.
I didn't remember one of those kids did. I was like, okay, we're going to go with you because I don't remember it. So you're going to have somebody that knows. Okay, Miss Summer, you ready? What you say, Miss?
What we got? What you giving me?
You ready? You got the horse.
Nay. I don't think that's how they really sound, but that's like what kids would do.
You want to do some movement?
Do what?
Keep your feet up in the air.
We need some entertainment. I'm going to move on. Miss Benjamin, you got the rooster.
Wow, you gotta do a lot. I don't know.
We all in class and we learning. Who said cock-a-doodle-doo? Miss Deborah. I missed. You got the pig. I missed myself. That's good. Miss Lawana, you got a duck. And you put the movements with it, okay?
I was for you. He keep me doing it anyway.
Miss Tori, are you on here with us? Okay, let's see. Emily, are you there? Belinda? Ramona?
Yes.
You're there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm going to give you have the dog. Thank you, ma'am. So you see how he eats. Oh, I got to do the rest of mine. Stacy Gaither. Got the cow.
Moo.
And son, this was perfect for you. You got the chicken.
What she loves to eat.
Girl, you know I love some chicken.
And I think I got Joanna on here. You got the cat. Miss Brooke, did I miss you?
You missed me.
Okay.
That's all right.
No, ma'am, I got plenty of cards in my hand.
All right.
You got the giraffe.
Oh my goodness. I don't know. I'd stretch out and walk tall. I don't know.
Stretch your neck out.
They make maybe chewing.
There you go.
Just chewing.
Okay, you see how easy that was? You can find pictures and pull them off the internet. I think I got these. It might come up. No, you actually have a copy of these in the handouts. So you can just cut them out. You show them to the kids. You don't tell them what they do unless they know, because like the giraffe, I couldn't help her out with the sheep, so I let y'all have it. And that's what you do with your kids. You show them the pictures, see if they can give you a sound or if they can give you a movement. And they do both, great. Any more questions so far? Okay, we'll talk about emotional development. How can we develop emotional development with the arts?
Able to express them what they're feeling through art.
Express what they're feeling through art, okay.
You know, they can deal with hard times and good times through art.
Okay.
Some of them show emotions for his hugs and
Showing emotions through hugs, okay. Do anyone else have any other activities, ideas?
Well, I know that the kids who have been through, like I say, during now, they actually let them color to get their emotions out so they can visually put down on paper what they're feeling.
Yes, possible.
Because sometimes they can't explain it, but they can show you in pictures.
Yes. And also, we've been taught that if they color with a lot of black, we might need to check into that. Sometimes that's true, but sometimes you actually have that child that just loves that color black, but still it's something that you can look into if they're constantly, if that's their favorite color or there are some underlying issues.
Boys just like to make the whole paper black.
Yes.
It's a challenge to get it all done, you know, see if you can get the whole thing black.
Or just fill it up with paint.
Yeah.
So this one says role playing, such as playing doctor and other careers, gives children a safe space to explore their appropriate emotional reactions to different types of situations. This can prepare the student to deal with the ups and downs we all encounter in daily life. And that pretty much sums up what we were talking about for the emotional development. So what about the development of motor skills in the arts?
Well, you just animals.
The animals.
Well, yeah, you're learning gross motor skills by by acting out being an animal.
Using gross motors by acting out to being an animal. Okay, what else?
Well, when they're drawing or coloring or painting, they're developing fine motor skills.
Yes.
The fine motor with drawing and painting.
What about playing with musical instruments?
Playing with the musical instruments, yes.
Mm-hmm.
If the teachers allow them, because I've been in several classrooms where those musical instruments are on the top shelf, where they should be on the bottom, free play.
How many of us played with their parents' pots and pans?
Yeah.
So once you're
Those
not
make
used to
some best instruments.
And if you're not used to your kids playing with their instrument, that's time for you to pull them out and get something going. They just banging, making all kind of noise, and we know it can get loud and give you a headache. But once that starts, get them together, get you a little band going, my marching band. Get them try to stay on the same beat. It's not that hard. They're doing that because they're not used to playing with them, and I've seen it in several classrooms. We go in for observation. They have to be out. You can tell when those kids have not used their instruments because, one, they banging on the cymbals with drumsticks. If they were taught how to use them, they would know that's not what you do with the cymbals. So about developing motor skills, say the example of dramatic plays, letting kids act out the lyrics to a song, which gets everyone out of their seat so they can practice all important skills like running, jumping, clapping, dancing, crawling, climbing, or even using everyday items as props. So what about social development in the arts?
Well, that's definitely there because you have to work as a group sometimes, or you have to follow the leader sometimes. It's a social interaction.
When they play different roles and things, want to play, say something, and the other child will say something that relates to it, like they was in some kind of play or something, they would have to interact with each other socially.
Yes. Anyone else have anything else to add? So say drama lets children implement class material in cooperation with their peers and teachers. They learn to examine different social roles and develop empathy for characters in the story as well as the people they meet in real life. Like I was just saying, they got to interact with each other. That's the time to get them to take in turns, having back and forth conversations. You're going to have those conversations with them, model the conversation, model the share taking. What about language and reading skills? How does that play with the arts in the classroom? When we're talking about arts, we're talking about the music, the drama as well.
Saying the ABCs, spelling cat, dog.
No.
Okay.
Memorization, maybe, or
I didn't hear you, Brooke.
Memorization.
Memorization, okay.
At a little bit older age, to do plays or.
Yes.
Hey, you can act out the song, going on a bear hunt. That is a good, you're learning above and below and everything else on a bear hunt.
Yes, and they love going on a bear hunt. That was the go-to song in my class when they all got rowdy. Everybody decided to get in the line and just go on that bear hunt. Who else got some other ideas?
Well, when they're acting out role playing, you're able to facilitate or introduce new words through role playing and things like that. So
So when we're introducing this language and reading skills with the art, are we setting up a play-by-play book for them?
No.
No, we're putting the materials out there and we're letting them have their way. Because you don't never know what one child may do, what you put out there.
We don't want clones. We're not Borgs.
So what now?
We're not clones. We're not Borgs.
No, that's exactly right.
Star Trek, sorry.
So say story time is more fun when children get to act out the characters. Students can use their own words and actions to portray the personalities. Let's say the Three Little Pigs and the Big Bad Wolf. It helps to build a strong connection between the words in the text and the characters, objects, and activities they describe. So like y'all was just saying, use the books, let them act it out. You read the book 2 or 3 times. Probably have to read it 2 or 3 more times, but the more you read it, the more they get into it, and eventually you're going to be able to put that book down. You're going to have a 2 or 3 gathering at the story time, reading that book, acting that book out on their own. All you got to do is sit back, take your pictures for your observation and your anecdotal notes. That lets us know they understood what you're saying. They're being independent and working on their own.
I get those finger puppets or those hand puppets going too with those.
Yes, they can. You introduce those. I'm starting to believe that hand puppets are being scarce these days. I don't see as many as I had in the past.
We just need to raid the sock drawers.
Yeah, because everybody got one sock for every pair.
That's a good activity with your kids to teach your kids how to make sock puppets. You can do it with the markers.
Oh, that would be something good to put out to your parents these next 2 weeks or however long they got to be at home with their child, because parents are struggling.
If they've got hair bands and socks and scarves, make great puppets.
That is something that you can do in the classroom. Like I said, every parent, and probably you as a teacher as well, gonna have a mismatch sock. I know, I was just putting up clothes this morning. For some reason, they went in as a pair, come back out. Only 1 out of 3 pair may have 1 pair that matched. And I just threw them in the drawer. Maybe, hopefully, they'll find their way back to each other.
Well, that's the nice thing about the water-based markers and white socks. It washes out.
Oh, okay. Did not know that. I learned something new. So everybody get that? You use the water-based markers on white socks. It can be washed out. Okay. What about problem solving?
Lets them work out what works and what doesn't work. I mean, some kids need to have hands-on on that. And they need to work with each other. Well, hands-on to figure out problem solving. They have to work it through.
Yes. Anybody got anything else to add? I know I have about 12 people in my class. I'm only hearing about 1 or 2.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. Don't apologize.
Hi, can you hear me?
Who's talking to me? Sonia?
Yeah, can you hear me? Okay, just want to make sure.
Letting the kids, like, for instance, stack a couple of blocks, and then if they get it wrong, you go and show them the right way, like solving it.
Exactly. You let them figure it out first.
Yeah.
Who else got any thoughts on problem solving? Miss Summer, you got any thoughts?
I was trying to think of some games. I'm sure there's some games out there that you could play that's problem solving. Think of a few. I know I've played musical chairs in my daycare, which they seem to like that pretty good, which gets them up and moving.
It does. And it gives them to know how to follow rules and accept when you have to lose. Okay. Pretend play is a great vehicle for critical thinking. If the 3 little pigs need to build a house, how will they build it? How big will it be? What should the house be made of? You ask open-ended questions that tap into children's natural curiosity and provide a safe space for trying out ideas and revising them. So 3 little pigs keep coming up in this. That's a good one because they got a straw, the brick, and the wood house. You find that material. You got to cut up paper to make that material. You put that out there. think about the song. You done played it a few times, so they're listening. They've heard the song. You put it out there, you give them material, you let them build. And if they see if it's going to blow down, what do they need to make it stronger? Okay, what about learning across the subjects, just all overall?
Well, you can tie in pretty much everything across it. I mean, math, reading, science.
It's all there.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I was headed to. Anybody else got anything?
Well, the more ways you do it, the more creative it gets, and the more the kids learn. So
Yes.
if you can pull more than just, pulling the five senses into it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what some educator got to learn to get out, because you're sitting at the table counting blocks. You don't have to just stick with math. There's other things that you can learn. You got your colors, you got your counting, you got your building, you got your fine motor. And then you can science, if they want to build something other than just a little brick house, you got your science right there. So some teachers got to get out of that mindset that I'm sitting with these blocks, we got to count them. That's all they're going to learn with the blocks is counting, when there's other things to learn from that.
I gotta admit, Legos are my favorite object to use because you can do so many different things with them.
Yes, Legos are a good one because you got different sizes. You're able to build from that, get your houses and steps ready. So what about learning across the subject? Say when kids portray the three little pigs building their house, they're also engaging in subject like the science and engineering. Why is the brick house stronger than the straw house? That'll be a good question for your young ones to have them thinking. You have a whole discussion. It may sway off somewhere else, but bring it back. And math, so how big should the house be? So with that, we're going to watch Three Little Pigs. It's the blues edition. So while you're listening, excuse me, think of ideas how you can do this in your classroom. Do everybody hear it?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, did.
Okay.
I don't hear it.
I can't hear it.
Okay, give me a second. Yeah, I would want to do this now. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Let me find out. Turn my volume up on my computer. Is that better? Can y'all hear it?
Yes.
I can barely hear it. I can hear it a little bit.
One day they were old enough to each have a house of their own. But their mother warned them to build their houses strong, so they would be safe from the big, bad wolves. Now the first little pig was lazy, so when he built his house, this is what happened. The first little pig built his house of straw. He ran inside when the wolf he saw. Little pig, let me come in. Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. So he huffed and he puffed and he huffed and he blew the house in. Well, the first little pig ran off as fast as he could to hide from the big bad wolf. Now the second little pig didn't like to work either. So when he built his house, what do you think happened? The second little pig built his house of sticks. The wolf came a-knocking just for kicks. Little pig, let me come in. Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. So he huffed and he puffed and he huffed and he blew the house in. Well, the second little pig ran off into the forest. strong and safe. The third little pig built his house of brick. The wolf came along and it ran inside quick. Little pig, let me come in. Oh, my chinny chin chin. So he hopped and he popped and he hopped and he popped and he hopped and he popped, but he could not blow the house in. Well, old Mr. Wolf, he was awful bad. He jumped on the house top. He was really mad. Little pig, down the chimney I go. But the little pig had a boiling pot of water below. Ow! Look at him go. Ow! Look at him go. Oh, yeah.
No more. Okay, by hearing the Three Little Pigs, or just if you didn't really hear it, but you know the story of the Three Little Pigs, how do you think you could incorporate it in your classroom? I would like for everybody to share something with me, please.
I'll go first. Hey, when you sing that, those kids can do the action and emotions, and heck, they can do the huffing and puffing.
They can do the huffing and puffing. Okay. Who else?
I would have them to build the house with straw and some with sticks and some with little blocks. And see how the difference is if we put little straws up, have them to blow it down. You know, we can build, another little group can build with little sticks and see how I blow it down, then get some blocks and build it and see who in the class can blow it down, you know.
Yep, that's a good one. And you said see who can blow it down. I was in the classroom. It was about time that the flu was going on, and she didn't want them blowing, so she actually got a piece of construction paper, and she let them fan the paper to see if it can be blown down that way, so they won't have to transmit the germs.
Yeah.
Okay, got a couple more that want to share, please.
You could kind of come up, if you wanted to, which I'd have to think about it, but you could probably come up with some kind of dance to go with the music video, so kind of get them up and interacting with the video itself.
Okay.
You can get the refrigerator boxes and make the houses.
Yeah, you can get the refrigerator box and make the houses.
Which would last in the classroom for a while.
They can put out the characters. Each one of them can be pig 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, I think I'll be the big wolf and let one of them be the piggies.
They would enjoy that. Yes, you can get your mask made. I didn't hear who was that.
I don't know.
Miss Latoya, you got anything to add? All righty. So what do you think? So you got to put your thinking caps on. When setting out to help children learn about art.
Hold on, Sarita. We got Emily. She said imitating the big bad wolf by stomping around. Each kid could be a different character of the story. And then from Latoya, she said her internet is going in and out.
Okay. Understand that.
Everybody's working from home this week.
Yeah, internet's blowing up. It's a wonder everybody's on here at one time.
Mine keeps doing the same thing. It'll say unstable every now and then.
Yeah, so they're offering this to the school teachers as well, what we're using. So put your thinking caps on and say, well, we're setting out to help children learn about art. Think, what is the purpose of art and why should kids study it?
You know, you're talking about art as kids, but as adults, we learn to do art as kids, and we become adults. You get those adults who have learned to think outside the box who can cure this disease for us.
Yes, we hadn't got there yet. We still training them.
But that's the reality. We're training kids when they're young. We're learning to think outside the box so they can think of those possibilities beyond what they're taught.
Mhm.
And this is what we're doing. We're teaching kids to discern, to learn, to figure out how to learn for themselves too. What can they take away?
Because we know a lot of them do not do things for themselves. Mama think it's easier just to do it for them, but they're not letting them grow up to be productive adults.
You're talking about the arts. That's one way to do it. That's one way to get them outside that box that they're actually in.
Mhm. So yes, just get them out there to be that creative.
Creative and come up with a way to express, because people express themselves through art when they draw and come up with.
They say art is highly connected to mathematics, logic, language. You have to understand art. You have to actually understand all those others.
And we know math with this new math. We're going to be happy just for them to know what 2 + 2 is in the next couple of years.
Don't get me started on the new math.
No, ma'am, me either.
I want to know, have they gone and talked to actually college professors about what math they actually use at the college level?
Say that again. Ask that question again.
These new people who are teaching the new math, have they actually gone and talked to college professors who are actually teaching mathematical courses, who are actually doing the STEM courses in college, what kind of math they actually use?
Well, I can attest at the 2-year level down at Southern Union, they're using regular math.
So why are we teaching
the one that carries it up?
Yeah.
Carries your one.
I know we're getting off the subject, but the reality is, why are we teaching kids something that doesn't make sense when you get to a higher education, higher level?
Well, they couldn't show it as
it's not an unusable skill.
I understand. Yeah.
You're right. Emily says it teaches kids to be free thinkers and interpret differently means from the same piece of art or meanings.
Okay.
Not sure.
It helps with their imagination and it helps their self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm probably freezing up because I see my internet connection is unstable. So. Okay. So the purpose of art, the earliest art, cave drawings and the like, certainly fulfilled some important purposes. This type of art was record of events, a means of sharing stories, and a way to pass on information. People created primitive art to show the world around them. Pictures were usually of animals, birds, plants, and humans in scenes of daily life, especially hunting. So in recent centuries, these visual arts have become more sophisticated. The spoken and written word has become our primary means of communication, so art can be more than just a chronicle of historic events or a way to share stories, although it still can definitely be those things as well.
Especially for those children who can't communicate verbally, it's a great way to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I know Ms. Deborah had mentioned earlier that something they can communicate through their art, through their drawings.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So say through art, artists can share their feelings in a way that evokes something from the viewer. The emotion one feels when viewing art may be pleasing or not, and you may find a piece of art thought-provoking, challenging, or even distressing. The artist trying to convey something, it's up to you to figure out what that is. Art is a conversation between you and the artist. They put themselves into their work, and you bring yourself to your interpretation of it. As we know, when it comes to children, we don't need to interpret their art. No. Because what looks like a palm tree to me may not even be a palm tree that they drew. So we always have to ask, tell me about your picture.
Art deals heavily with emotions.
Yes.
And a child, that's, like I said, that if they can't verbally express it, a lot of times they can show it.
Yes. And they might not be able to tell you what's wrong, but once they draw that picture and you talk with them about that picture and they're telling you about it, then you probably get more into depth what's going on with them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good. Let them just have free art as well. Put on the table, the markers, the papers, the crayons, color pencils. Let them have their way.
Play-Doh, you talk about Play-Doh's good for your finite control in your hands, but it's also a very good outlet for art. Physical, 3D art. Yes.
They get to roll it up and put it in the form they want to put it in. Because of the feelings that art can evoke, feelings that usually cannot be brought on by other means, art is indispensable to human existence. Art meets our needs for self-expression, communication, and our desire for connection with other humans across centuries and cultures. It is important that children know art is important. We don't stress enough. A lot of teachers just put paper and paint or crayons. Here, draw me a picture. And most times they're drawing a picture because they've been over here, been a little too busy in the block area, and that's a way to calm them down for most teachers. They're not putting any emphasis into art these days. Anybody else got any thoughts on that? So what can young children learn from art? What do y'all think? And we're actually talking about art now for us, drawing, pictures, and paintings, all that.
Colors, shapes.
Colors and shapes, okay.
There's a whole bit about how colors work.
How colors work, okay.
If you mix another color with another color.
Mm-hmm. Right, science, mixing your colors.
Yeah.
Good one.
Mm-hmm.
Mom, I'm down here.
What else?
It also when you start doing that, it teaches them how to put a 3D object on a paper, or it teaches them how to see things, how to look around in their life every day. Why is a tree green? Why is a trunk brown? They'll ask those questions. Why is the sky blue?
And that's your open-ended questions to get that language in there to teach them your teachable moments. They were to ask those questions. Okay. Even at a very early age, children can appreciate works of art. They enjoy looking at pictures, like photos and paintings, of fruit, flowers, animals, and other popular artistic subjects. Bright colors and sharp contrasts are stimulating visually, excuse me, and aid in brain development. Older kids begin to notice that art has meaning beyond the images themselves. As they observe the feelings and emotion that the works of art evoke, they will see how art can be a way of expression for themselves too. Studies show that exposure to great art increases a child's verbal ability, expressiveness, reasoning, and logical thinking, and leads to philosophical questions as a child seeks interpretation and understanding. Aside from strengthening their verbal and analytical skills, studying art can teach children about design, color, shading, perspective, shadows, lighting, composition, and various artist techniques. In addition, you find that children begin to view the world around them from an artist's perspective. Everything they see is a potential subject. They are more attuned to details and characteristics of objects, animals, and people. But in order for us to do that with them, we have to instill that in them. Like I keep saying, you can't just put a piece of paper and markers or crayons on the table and tell them to draw something. Once they draw it, you need to speak with them about it. Ask what they use, especially when you get with your older kids. Have them talk to you about their picture. And then write their words on their picture. Once they can get to see their words, they got that language in there. You have to talk with them about their pictures. You can't just say, okay, let's put it on the wall. And then one day you come in and ask, that's a tree house. The next day you come in, there's something else because y'all did not talk about it from day one. So therefore, every day their picture is going to change. The preschool years are the perfect time to introduce the classical arts by showing them. It's very easy to do. Simply display work of art for your children. You can tell them the artist and even talk about it a bit if you wish. You do not need to do anything formal right now. Just get your children a habit of recognizing beauty. Do the same with music. You can play classical music in the background while your children play. Begin to introduce hymns and folk songs because we all know that children love music. So some developmental benefits of art. What about the motor skills when it comes to art? How do motor skills benefit from art?
They benefit quite well. I mean, you go back to the songs, the actions, emotions. They learn to follow the verbal cues and the visual cues of the teacher there who's doing the, like I said, go on a bear hunt. Those verbal visual cues. Gets those gross motor going. You got rhythm, clapping.
Okay.
Emily says moving arms, dancing with feet, shaking music toys.
Okay. Anybody else got any suggestions?
I like following instructions. Say, for instance, we're going to do a handprint and we're going to make a turkey out of it. Then I would put, show them how to do the handprint and we'll get some and do the beak, to make the beak, and everybody follow along the way to see how do they make or how would they do their turkey, and you display it.
Yeah.
We've been taking chalk outside to the sidewalk.
Yes, that's a habit that's been lost as well. Sidewalk chalk.
Yeah, you'll have to lay on the ground. It's great, gross motor skills to learn how to actually draw that across the chalk. Sidewalk. How hard you have to push down on it to get to actually work.
Exactly. So many of the motions involved in making art, such as holding a paintbrush or scribbling with a crayon, are essential to the growth of fine motor skills in young children. According to the National Institute of Health, developmental milestones around age 3 should include drawing a circle and beginning to use safety scissors. Around age 4, children may be able to draw a square and begin cutting straight lines with scissors. Many preschool programs emphasize the use of scissors because it develops the dexterity children will need for writing. How many of you allow your kids to use scissors?
Open, close, open, close.
Okay, I got 2.
I work with babies.
Okay. Well, you're exempt from this one today. And Miss Warner, y'all just finished start out, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah, I talked to you the other day. Miss Summer, you let your kids use scissors? It's a good thing to use scissors. A lot of teachers shy away from using scissors because they think they're going to cut themselves, they're going to cut other things. Yes, ma'am.
Miss Latoya said they cut every day in her classroom.
Okay. That's good.
We actually start out when we do scissors, there's the 3 rules. We don't cut our hair, we don't run with the scissors, and how to carry them, and basically what you can and can't cut.
And those are good rules. That's what they need. And also at the same time, supervision. You can't sit Johnny down with those scissors and walk away. Even though you told Johnny those rules 4 times before he got those scissors. You have to have supervision with scissors. And that's what a lot of teachers don't do. They think it's messy. It is. They think they're going to cut other than paper. They will. So that's why you have to sit there with them. Not actually sit there with them, because after a while, you're going to get to stand behind them, but keep an eye on them. You get to keep going further doing what you need to do, but watching them. As far as the messy, get you a shoebox. Everybody got a shoebox laying somewhere around the house. Got a parent that has an old shoebox. You can decorate the shoebox, or you can be like I was, just put the shoebox in the area like it is. Let them cut over the shoebox. It catches their mess.
We do pencil first on paper just to learn how to strike, and then we take the paper and recycle it into cutting.
Yes, you can do that too, because you'll be amazed at how many kids that do not know how to pull paper with their fingers. I seen that firsthand probably about a month ago, and I was like, what kid don't want to cut tear paper? And it was 2 or 3 kids that could barely get it and rip it. So that's what y'all start out first. Like you said, you start out with tearing it, then you work the cutting. And like I said, to keep the mess down, put it in get a shoebox. And if all the kids want to fuss over a shoebox, everybody have their own shoebox. Somebody say something.
Have you been using cookie sheets?
Using cookie sheets?
Oh yeah, magnetic. The cookie sheets are great for like magnets. They hold things on your table, individual holders for kids.
Yeah, they can work for that too. Yes, ma'am.
More than one use of a cookie sheet.
It is. You can use them as magnetic. You can use the magnetic sheets, get them printed off and learn the colors, their names, their number sequencing.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Sabrina.
Hi. Hey, Sabrina.
Hey, Miss Sabrina.
So we have any other ideas on that or remarks? Okay.
See, do you guys have the scissors for the Play-Doh?
Yes, you can use scissors with the Play-Doh because they're more safety with the scissors and the Play-Doh.
Well, they make special size scissors for the Play-Doh, so they don't have an edge.
They're more safer.
Yeah.
So what about language development with the arts? What's the benefit of language development?
Well, if they're doing dramatic play, they can talk to one another and they're developing those language skills.
Okay.
Singing.
Singing.
Singing offers that repetition and practice.
Repetition, practice. What else?
Well, you could. I'm going back to bear hunt. Over, under, climbing. I mean, it gives you. They get left, right, up, and down. Verbal skills. What's under? What's over?
Yes, getting the position words in there because a lot of them don't know what over is. They know the motions, but to put it into words, they don't know. So, say for every young child, making art or just talking about it provides opportunities to learn words for colors, shapes, and actions. When toddlers are as young as a year old, parents can do simple activities such as crumpling up paper and call it a ball. By elementary school, students can use descriptive words to discuss their own creations or talk about what feelings are elicited when they see different styles of artwork. And we know kids love crumbling up paper just as well. You got old newspaper, you got old mail laying around. Let them ball them up. Let it use as a basketball, toss it. There you go. You got your fine mode and got your gross mode in there.
Got the paper airplane.
Paper airplane, yes.
The old traditional stuff.
Well, yeah, it's amazing what you can make. I mean, how many people actually remember how to do what was called a water bomb? Fold your paper into a box, a closed box.
Oh, I don't know that.
Origami, there's some basic origamis that kids can actually learn to fold, and they learn to make a flat surface into a 3D object.
Okay. What age group do you work with, Miss Deborah?
I work with early twos, late twos, early threes.
Okay.
But I've worked with all ages, so.
That's a good group.
That's good. Hi, BJ.
Hey, sorry, it took me so long to get on here.
That's fine. So what about decision making?
I have no idea what's happening.
Can you see anything, BJ?
No, it just says decision making, but that's it.
Yeah, that's where we're at.
Okay.
It's a PowerPoint.
Okay.
So right now we're talking about the developmental benefits of art, and we're on decision making now.
Okay.
So how's it's a benefit? Decision making is a benefit of art.
Oh, okay. So how is decision making a benefit?
How can we incorporate to the art to get a benefit out of it?
Well, it's a self-expression.
Self-expression, okay.
Problem solving.
Problem solving, okay.
It allows you to learn to have confidence in what you say and do.
Confidence, okay.
You decide what you like and what you don't like.
Decide what you like and don't like. teacher don't decide it for you, you don't want to use the red for that red apple today, fine.
Right. Make it a purple one.
You want it purple, that's how you feel today. And as educators, we got to understand that. All apples will not be red. They will not be yellow. They will not be green. If you have all those colors of apples in your classroom, something is wrong. There's no creative expression. Anybody else have anything else to add? Okay, so according to a report by Americans for the Arts, art education strengthens problem solving and critical thinking skills. The experience of making decisions and choices in the course of creating art carries over to other parts of life. If they are exploring and thinking, experimenting, and trying new ideas, then creativity has a chance to blossom, says Marianne Cole, who's an arts educator and author of numerous books about children's art education. So what about visual learning as a developmental benefit of art? How does it play a role? And I have probably stalled. Internet connection is unstable. So if y'all can still hear me or see me move, wave your hand at me. Okay. So visual learning.
Goes back to using your senses again. You visually, you're learning. You know, you're going back to your apple again. Not all things are what everybody tells you are. You're going to explore all possibilities. You're still going to ask the question, why are there only red apples, yellow apples, and green apples? Why aren't there other color apples?
Yes.
And you can
have to be ready to answer.
Yeah.
Seeing the difference.
Who was that saying something?
Luana, I was just saying seeing the
Okay.
difference.
Seeing the difference?
Yes.
Okay. And again, I apologize because my internet is going in and out, so I'm halfway hearing some of the stuff. So if I ask what, that's what it is. Anybody else got any other suggestions, thoughts? Okay, drawing, sculpting with clay, and thread and beads on a string all develop visual spatial skills, which are more important than ever. Even toddlers know how to operate a smartphone or a tablet, which means that even before they can read, kids are taking in visual information. This information consists of cues that we get from pictures or three-dimensional objects from digital media, books, and television.
My kids love taking the bristle blocks and turning them into cell phones.
Yes. They will turn anything into a cell phone.
Yep.
And then they wander around the classroom like this. Blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay.
Then somebody else will make one. They'll be talking to each other, just walking around the classroom.
Yeah, that's kind of scary in a sense.
Yes, because that's what they're used to. They a bunch of them don't see nothing else often. They see the cell phone. Mama bring them into school. She's on the phone, signing in. She halfway waving and speaking to you. Then she pick them up. She's on the cell phone as she's signing out, telling them, most of them come on. They don't have time. That's all they see is the cell phone. When they get in the car, she passes the tablet back there to them. So they imitate what they see. We've already discussed that earlier, is what you see. So that's what they do.
And even in the classrooms, because a lot of teachers also do that, like the songs and the stuff off of their cell phone.
Yes, I've seen that. They'll somehow hook it up to the radio or hook it up to a speaker. Yes, I don't think they use these this often anymore. So yeah, they're sending it at home. They're sending it in school. So what else are they going to make with the bristle blocks? So
I'm
I
sorry,
guess you
y'all.
go.
Give me just 1 second. My child is losing his mind right now.
Okay. So with the
sorry.
bristle blocks, with them doing cell phones, you go back to the Three Little Pigs, have them to build that house.
Mm-hmm.
You build them up to it. Okay, what about inventiveness?
They get to use their imagination.
Yeah. Use their imagination.
Which is something that a lot of kids today lack.
They do.
Mine like taking the wiffle blocks and turning them into tracks for the cars.
See, other than the cell phone, they evolving.
Yeah. Well, that's mainly the boys, but yeah, everything turns into a track to race your cars on.
So they're watching
I'm
racing
back.
somewhere.
Yeah.
And the rest of the kids.
But you know, your imagination, like I said, you bring it back in. Those who aren't good, you know, kids can tell stories if they're drawing.
Yes.
You can start it. Make a circle. Make your face. Start working your animals.
You can.
You know? They've got great imaginations. It doesn't take a whole lot for you to draw something. It doesn't have to exactly look like it. You can just tell them what it is and they'll go for it.
This is my dog. Now build your story for my dog. And they will build them a story. Whatever they draw may not look like what they're telling you, but that's their story, that's their picture.
Yeah, you can start them off by showing them how and let their imagination go.
Yes. We always got to model, because how else are they going to learn? I said, going back to the apple, we can tell them all day apples are red. But Johnny and Susie, they're apt to make a purple apple today. They're going to have that purple apple. And going back to invention, a classroom I did an observation in, they actually did the 3 Little Pigs that day, and they had materials from the block area at a table, and they were building houses with their material. Well, one little boy had wheels, and he had a set of blocks. So his teacher asked what he was making, and he told him, I'm making a truck. She's like, no, we're building a pig house. He's like, no, I'm building a truck. And it took all I had to me be like, no, he's building a truck today. But I kept quiet. So eventually he got smart. He built a house on wheels. So it worked.
That wolf couldn't catch the mobile home, right?
Yeah. So he got his truck and she got her house. And she didn't even tell him. She was insisting on him making a house for the little pigs. And he was insisting on making the truck, so he put them together. So that's where the inventors come in. Let them figure out what they want. He didn't want to build no house that day. That was fine. I'm talking to other kids about houses, maybe they could have brought him in. But on his own, he built his house on wheels. Excuse me. So when kids are encouraged to express themselves and take risks in creating art, they develop a sense of innovation that will be important in their adult lives. Self-expression through art is beneficial at the earliest age. The kind of people society needs to make it move forward are thinking, inventive people who seek new ways and improvements, not people who can only follow directions, says Cole. Art is a way to encourage the process and the experience of thinking and making things better. A teacher must provide a space for unrestrained, messy creativity. And the word there is messy.
The other day, I got brave and I let my class paint, and one of our friends painted another one of our friends.
And how did you handle that situation?
Well, after I laughed, I just I was like, okay, I think we may be done for the moment because you're covered in red paint and everything else is about to be.
Emily says hers use puzzles and take them to the oven and pretend like they're cooking pizzas. They bring her the pieces of the pizza and ask her if it's a yummy pizza.
Okay. Who else leaves space for unrestrained, messy art?
I did in my classroom when I taught.
Okay. Who else?
We give them the easel and let them go out with a piece of paper and their own pile of paint.
Yep, that can work. Let them
With
have
the
at
babies,
it.
sometimes we'll do the pudding on the high chair.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's not really clean. But with babies, you got to get a little bit more inventive, so they draw their little fingers in it. That's their version of art.
Using their little finger.
Valentine's Day, we covered their boxes in tissue paper and let them color all over them so that they would be like their own.
Okay. That can work. And back to you, Brooke, about your babies paint and trying to get that in with them. What you can also do too is put paper and blobs of paint in a Ziploc bag
Yes.
and let them do their own with the finger as well.
Well, and as they get older, because I'm like in a nursery two type, they can hold the brush, just to start to get that feel for a large, crayon or something. But it's just keeping everything out of the mouth,
Yeah. That's a task by itself.
Right.
Yeah, I got boys who sit there and peel the crayons. They don't want to draw on the paper. They just want to peel the crayons.
Yeah, they just want to break them.
Y'all have any tips for the whole keeping things out of kids' mouths?
No, they're just making stronger immune systems.
Right.
While they're looking for a cure for today, huh?
Yeah. I had a brother who taught my nieces to point to their brain.
You did what now?
A brother of mine said, point to your brain.
No.
Oh.
Yeah, he was the brother that the other brother was not appreciative that he was watching his kids because he came with very creative ways to get the kids in trouble.
Inventiveness.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, they eat those, they suck on things. I got one who sucks we had to take the markers away because they kept sucking the juice out of the markers.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Yeah, he's an oral student and he likes to taste everything. He seemed to like the taste of markers.
And that can be difficult working with those types of children that have that.
Yeah. I mean, he has to put everything in his mouth to taste it. And that's just the way he takes in his senses. That's the way he learns.
Just have to find another avenue to get it in so it won't be markers.
Yeah. Well, that and the Play-Doh.
Yeah, that's all of them pretty much like Play-Doh.
Yeah, but to eat it, it's like, ugh. Yeah, he's getting better. As he gets older, he gets better. That's the way it is.
Yeah. Anybody else got any more thoughts on inventiveness? We just got to remember, let them have their way with the art.
Yeah.
Yes, paint's going to get on the floor. Yes, somebody's probably going to paint somebody else, but then that's where you go back to reinforcing your rules. Talking with them about what it is to do and what it is not to do. Let them know paper, if at all possible, paint, if all it possible, stays on the paper. Not on the table, not on my friend, not on the floor. And it's going to take a while, especially when you got your younger kids, because they got in the paintbrush and somebody called their name, and so their head turning, their whole body. So there go paint just everywhere.
Yes.
You gotta have good parents that understand that occasionally your kid will come home with painted clothes. Most of it does wash out. Why you're sending your kid to a preschool or a school in really good clothes when kids make messes?
Some are slowly but surely learning that, and they got to know everything we use is kid friendly and it's washable. Because if not, everything in our classroom we probably could not use because it's got some kind of marker on it somewhere, some paint. Like I said, when they turn around their whole body, paintbrush and all. And if you're not careful, the whole paper, if it's not on there good, they're just turning. So we got to understand those messes going to happen. We got to deal with them and let them have their way. Any more thoughts on it?
I know one thing that we did one day was we had for our younger ones, which the older ones got to paint too, be creative however they wanted to. But one time we got the little ones that was crawling. We had their parents bring like old onesies, stuff they didn't care to get messy, and we actually put a tarp down and put paper and put some paint, and then just let the toddlers crawl through it or do their hands, whatever they wanted to do.
Okay.
Therefore they were kind of included in it as well.
That'd have been a cute idea to use on the ones that they are using because it's their own artwork.
I like that. I like straws and watercolor paints.
How does that work out for you?
You put the blob on there, you give them a straw and tell them to blow through it.
I said, how does that work out with the kids for them blowing it?
You're teaching them how to blow. Most of them want to suck it, but you can teach them to blow through it.
Okay.
But it's a skill. You're teaching them a skill, and you're teaching them how to use it. But it works great for for pretty pictures.
Yeah, it does. That's their artwork, their masterpiece.
I call it refrigerator art.
Yeah, It can be, and if they put a frame around, it can be real pretty. Any other thoughts on inventiveness?
I haven't really got started yet, but when I be saying like, I've been saying like my kids, I have 4 kids, but my youngest is 4, so he make us be like in his classroom as well. So we all have to do the same thing. So that's why I keep saying, but I haven't got started yet, but I have, or I haven't opened yet. But for painting wise, I have a tote to wear, and I love shopping out of season where I just go and get a lot of t-shirts. And so when they do start painting, I have like different sizes, little small t-shirts when it's paint time, throw it over the kids' clothing, and then when they leave, I can just take the t-shirt out and wash it myself.
Yes, that's how you can use inexpensive smalls. Like go to the thrift store and buy some big shirts, throw them over the kids. That way, those parents won't be trying to be mad because Susie got paint all over her new pretty white shirt.
And like towards that activities where they go and they play as different heroes and stuff. I shop I always shop out of season. But after Halloween time, I always go in and get the costumes and stuff. I get the costumes like $3-4. I have so many costumes that they actually like, you know, go in and pick whatever costume they want to play out. And just that whole day just go in. They chose to be out the box, you know.
And also another place to get costume good is too at the Dollar Tree around Halloween.
After Halloween's over with, just go. I get everything. Valentine over with them, you know, all the stickers that go on the walls in the classroom, change them, and that's how you go, and that's how I shop.
We always shop out of season just after the season. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, catch a lot of things.
Those totes and
that and the grab bags from Michael's.
Okay.
You know, Michael does that. They do boxes and they do grab bags, and you just pay a couple bucks and you get a whole bag full of stuff or a whole box.
We don't have a Michael's this way, so I'm unfamiliar with Michael's.
Oh, I'm sorry. You need a Michael's.
We do need
We
a
have a
Michael's.
Hobby Lobby.
There's one in Inverness. That's the closest one, probably here.
I was gonna say too what I've done like with I haven't done it with my preschool kids. I've thought about doing it, but I've done it with my daughter. I like to paint myself, and she's seen me painting, so I like to oil paint. And I'll sit her up beside me and have her paint, and then after she's done, I'll say, okay, now what was this that you painted? And she'll tell me, and on the back of it, I'll write, you know, her name, what it was that she did, the year, and then I hang it up in her room, and it makes her feel, you know, special.
Yes, because they get to look at their artwork every day, that what they drew, and be proud of it. And that's why a lot of teachers do, and I would suggest that when your kids do artwork, to put up in the classroom. A lot of times, they don't want to take them home, and that's fine. Ask them would they mind painting or drawing another one for the classroom, and that would really make them feel special. Put their artwork, put their name on, and let them place it somewhere in the classroom. Because I know that sometimes teachers put some up like up here, and I know I'm tall, and I have to walk by like, oh, okay. So imagine what a 2-year-old is doing, trying to look at his picture that's up high.
Yeah.
So let them put the picture where, because one, that's showing the ownership, because they get to put their own picture on the wall, and then when it's time for you to swap out content for the next month, they can go help you get the pictures down because they know where their picture's at to go get it off the wall.
Yeah.
You guys done anything off of paper? Have you done fabric? Have you just taken a bed sheet and let them go for it, a white one, put it on the ground, put the colors
That's a
down,
good idea.
let the kids go? I mean, you can actually hang that in the classroom if you want, but I mean, more than just paper, there's other objects we can work on.
Thank you, Miss Deborah, for those ideas. Because the first I did when I was in classroom was butcher paper. We put it outside on the wall, and they got the spray paint. We had colored water. They got to spray it. Never done anything.
Yeah.
So y'all got that to use fabric. And sometimes if you got a good little fabric store nearby, sometimes they'll probably donate you some if you let them know what you're using it for.
So you're talking mesh. Shower curtains are the cheapest things to put down to keep your messes off of things.
Yes. Go to the Dollar Tree and get you one for $1. Any more thoughts on inventiveness?
I will say something else that I do around, like Valentine's Day. I'm sure a lot of y'all do it, but involved, like I'll say, okay, so it's Valentine's Day, so y'all take a shoebox and y'all decorate it, as a family, and they'll bring it to the preschool, and the kids are always like so excited because that's something that they did with their parents that they created together, and I really like when they do that because it seems like it's the parents involved, which seems to be a little bit of a struggle nowadays to get the parents involved because the parents are always so busy. So.
Yes. And sometimes when you have those activities to take home, that's probably for some the only time they get to do an activity with their parents.
Yeah.
So it's good to have those parent nights or parent activities at home with the parents for them and the child. And most of them, even though they need that little nudge to do an activity with their child, they will participate. Because it's like, for one, they probably don't know what to do with their child because they're working 12 plus hours. By the time they get home, they're tired. Little Johnny's still jumping off the wall. He's ready to eat. You got to cook dinner and other things. So a lot of times they don't know what they can do or what they should do. So it's nice to have those at least monthly parent activities. Sitting home, okay, this is what we like to do this month as a parent activity. And then as you do it more often, you probably get more parents involved. Be like, what we're doing this month. And it lets you know that you're going on the right track with it.
Yeah.
So what about cultural awareness being a benefit? I know we got to think about this one for a little bit.
Well, in a sense, not necessarily. I mean, you're talking cultural awareness, you're talking continents and different peoples, different tribes, different nations. Each one, there's history in there, and that's where the art really comes involved with. You can actually look, Russian history, look at their nesting dolls. Kids would be fascinated with that. That's culturally, you're talking art, it's just woven through every culture.
Yes.
And it's a way to bring kids into seeing different nations, different backgrounds.
Or seeing the differences around them.
Hey, Sonia, I didn't hear you.
Seeing the differences around them in their environment.
Seeing the difference around them. We have to put it out there as educators. Because we're not familiar with certain pieces of art don't mean that it shouldn't go up in the classroom. You see something one day at the thrift store, oh, this is cute. Maybe you can try to do research on it, figure out so that way when somebody come and ask you about that picture, y'all can be able to have that conversation. And it just go up in the classroom. Well, it's good to have different pieces of art in the classroom.
And art isn't always just a flat piece of paper.
Yes. They have 3D art, 2D, yes ma'am.
Arts, music, instruments.
You can do cultural music.
Yes.
Yes.
It helps them to step outside of their world because a lot of kids might just live in rural areas, and so they don't get the opportunity to be exposed to different things around the world around them.
And talking about that, and I can just think back because I was born in Georgia, and for many years, my mom is from Alabama, her family, so we used to travel to come see her family when I was younger. And believe it or not, we had never seen cows, so our first trip to Alabama was like the best. Like, we seen cows, like, ooh, cows, horses. It was like, it was a different world for us. And my cousin looked at us like, really? But it was something different. That's what we have to introduce the kids to. So when they do go outside of their state, at least, they'll be introduced to some of these things, be used to it. But yes, they used to look at us funny when we used to be amazed by seeing cows on the side of the road. But now I'm used to it, so I can see why they were like, no, it's nothing new to see a cow.
Our daycare does, they go to trips to the museum for the older kids. So they do the day trips for that. So you're talking culture with that. They study those cultures, and they study when they go before they go.
And speaking of trips to museums, actually taking a trip now, I'm noticing that a lot of museums are doing virtual trips that they can go and see things by the computer. Since all the kids are familiar with computer and technology now, and the more teachers implement them in the classroom, they're doing virtual trips to a lot of museums in other countries.
I think the Smithsonian's got a whole page full of them.
Yes, they do, because I had just sent a link to my brother them to do those, because they do those a lot, different ones. So there might be some that you guys can look into whenever, hopefully April 6th, we can all get back to our normal lives. So cultural awareness. As we live in an increasingly diverse society, the images of different groups in the media may also present mixed messages to a child by a child is playing with a toy that suggests a racist or sexist meaning. Part of that meaning develops because of the aesthetics of the toy, the color, shape, texture of the hair, says Friedman. Teaching children to recognize the choices an artist or designer makes in portraying a subject helps kids understand the concept that what they see may be someone's interpretation of reality. So I have to understand, go back to, it looks like a palm tree to me, but to them, it's totally something different. We have to keep an open mind. We need the children to keep an open mind as well. We can't just always assume what we see is what it is. We all know that too well. Classical arts. Early childhood exposure to the classical arts can create new, I'll put another extra slide in there, sorry. So we're talking about bringing in art into the classroom. So you can do this by just having pictures. This one here is a picture of Henry Matisse. And if I'm saying it incorrectly, somebody please correct me. So if you had this picture in your classroom, hang it up. How would you have a conversation with your children about this piece of art?
They probably ask why there's a sock or something sticking out of his mouth.
Okay. And so what would your response be?
Well, I guess that's a pipe, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
The tip does look like a sock.
What you said, I had to look like I thought that was a pipe.
Sonia?
I said the tip of it looks like a sock.
Oh, yeah, it does. Looks like a Dr. Seuss sock.
You know, you look at it from the perspective of a kid, they're going to ask why his face is blue. What's that red spot under his eye? They're going to ask direct questions about.
Yeah.
You know, it's an impressionist painting. We understand that. Kids are going to go, They're going to ask the questions. They'll do it themselves, but they're
going to be very concrete. Yeah.
And then that's where you come in, put a little extra work, do a little extra research on Henry Matisse. You come in, you explain his artwork to them. You point out the different features of the picture. Y'all talk about it. Let them explain to you first what they see.
What they see. That's what I was
Mm-hmm.
Right. It opens that conversation, questions, and thinking and things like that.
You can just have it, okay, let's talk about this today. You got a picture or something. That brings that language in. You're getting a piece of art in there with them. They're talking to you. You may even have little Susan. She never really talks a lot of times. That picture draws her in, something she likes. Any more thoughts on Henry?
They'll start telling you like the colors that they see, the shapes that they see.
Okay.
Different designs, you know, and they start asking questions like why his eye big or whatever, you know. By his ears, you know, his hair looks, you know what I'm saying, his chin look this, you know, so, and you just go in and just start explaining, let them tell you, and then you go and tell them.
And just make sure if you're not familiar with classical art, go ahead and do your research on it. So if they come and tell their mama a picture about hearing, and she know a little bit more about hearing, she be like, no, that's not what it is. So put in a little extra word to learn. And these pictures I'm showing, they are part of your handouts as well. So if you want to use them, start using them, you can.
How fun would it be to put that in your classroom without letting your children know that you did it, and seeing and just watching and waiting for them to be able to see it and then start asking questions? That would be kind of fun. Not telling them, do you see anything new?
Somebody's going to spot it.
Yeah, it don't take but one.
Yeah.
You know, somebody say, no, you know, there it goes.
You'd be like, oh, where did that come from? And then start the whole conversation.
Always somebody looking.
Yeah. Then somebody gonna You're going to see somebody, some eyes somewhere looking while you putting up. They're going to be telling the next friend, look what she doing. Then everybody going to migrate towards that picture. That's a good idea, son. Just putting them up and see who notices. Okay, the next one is, anybody know? Not my trainers.
No.
What is it? Pascal? No. What's his name? Starts with a P. Sorry.
Say it.
Trying to say it. I know what his name is, but I can't say it.
Pablo Picasso.
Thank you.
You were starting.
I tried. It just wouldn't come out. Yeah. He's definitely no.
Can you imagine the questions, the comments that would come from this picture?
Question is always why. I think the kids always did a better picture than his artwork. Sorry, no offense. I'm not a fan of his artwork, never was. But I love kids' artwork. And to me, that's always what reminds me of kids' artwork.
And this one here is more, as you say, kids' artwork on their level. So you can put up, let's see if you can be a Pablo Picasso for today.
Yeah.
Because somebody's going to almost, with your older kids, get this picture. So what can you talk about with this picture with your kids?
Well, it's definitely an emotional piece.
Okay. So what kind of emotions are you getting from this one?
They'll see sadness in it.
Okay.
Face, two different colors, like diversity. Yeah.
Okay.
If you want some fun, you take this, you photocopy it, and take the colors out of it and let them paint it themselves.
That is a good idea. I did not even think of that.
That is a good idea.
I mean, it's a line art. Just give them, just the line art of this and let them go for it. Watch what colors they come up with.
That is a good idea. And everybody he'll be the starting point. You have your Pablo Picasso wall. Have an art display one day. That's a good one, Miss Deborah.
I'm gonna write that one down.
And you do, like if you have this picture as well in the handouts. I don't know how well you can do it with taking the colors out.
It's computers, sorry.
Ma'am.
You can actually take a tissue paper over it and just copy it, the black lines, and then, photocopy your tissue. Or your.
Oh, okay.
It's an easy, or you can do it computer-wise, your choice.
Or if you have an overhead projector, you have access to one.
Yeah, you can do it that way too. There's a couple different ways of doing it.
So therefore, since Sonia said overhead project, if you're near one of our resource rooms, bring it in, and we can hopefully April 6th. I'm keep shooting for the
April 6th, yeah.
We're not gonna go no further April 6th with this. Near resource room, my son said overhead projector, bring it in. One of us ladies will be more than happy to help you. Anything else that you would notice you want to share with the kids about this picture?
You can start teaching symmetrical or symmetry with it a bit.
Yeah, a line of symmetry.
The face is mirrored from one side to the other. I mean, there's things you can do science-wise and art-wise with it. You can talk about the colors. Does it make you happy? Does it make you sad? What's the feelings you get from looking at it?
And then going back to you talking about just doing an outline of them coloring or painting themselves, you can also play music in the background to get them in a groove to coloring. Because some will color to the rhythm of the music. So you're getting that all in, and you're listening in, you're getting your science, you're getting your art, you're getting your fine motor. We've covered 4 right there off this one picture. Any other thoughts on Pablo? Okay.
Sure is colorful.
This one here's anybody know what this one is before I say it?
Starry Night. Let's see. Trying to remember the
Somebody said it. Who said it? Was that you, Sonia?
That's one of my favorites.
Oh, but she been gone, so she know they're not supposed to talk.
Oh yeah, she's been
Yeah, Stacy, we're not supposed to give the answers.
I know. I've been here. I haven't been gone. I've been listening. I just been being quiet. I know it's hard to believe.
There's a whole house painted like this.
So it's a starry night.
Yeah, it's a starry. There's a whole house painted like this.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, he painted it for his autistic son who loved it. Got in trouble with his with the city, but the city backed down. But yeah, there's a whole house painted like this.
Okay, where at?
I don't remember. You can look in the news. It's been national. I mean, it made it past year.
You can tell how often I watch the news.
Well, it's one of those things. If you Google it, you probably will find it. But there's a house that's painted like this, and it's really cool.
So what kind of conversation could we have with this picture with our kids? Let's see who else. Hold on, Miss Deborah. Let me see who else in here we can talk to. Well, everybody's been talking. Okay. Miss Emily, you still there? Okay. We don't have any extra people that hadn't been saying anything. So what kind of conversation could we have with our kids about this picture?
What do they recognize in there? What are the images they actually can understand visually?
Because what I see is look like the ocean, but it's really the sky.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You see the town in the foreground.
Mm-hmm.
If y'all look at J-Tone's picture, they have a picture of the house that she was talking about. That's color. That's painted like the Starry Night.
It says it's in Mount Dora, Florida.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Something so that it would show my picture.
Oh yeah,
So
you
I
can
could-
see it. Yeah,
Okay.
that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you for finding it. I just knew about it. I didn't know where exactly to look.
You're welcome.
I think it's pretty cool what he did. I mean, the artwork alone on a house, to take that kind of image and put it on a house. The man hours for it.
And it calmed his son.
I think that's what it was. If I have the background story right.
Yes, it says it was their autistic son.
Mm-hmm.
And so it said it violated the city code for unusual decoration, but they took it to court and they won.
Which I think is cool. I mean, talk about breaking the rules. You know, kids, it's like they did a whole house on it.
And who knows, this picture could be a comment for someone in the classroom just as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because you sit and look at it, kind of mesmerized if you just look at it for a minute.
Reminds me of Aurora Borealis, the Northern Lights.
Yeah. Anybody else have any other thoughts on this one?
Well, you could bring in their personal experiences. You could talk to them, like how many of you have been out at night and looked up at the stars and talk about their own personal experiences.
This is a great one to do with finger painting.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. It
And a little crayon resist.
Or have one of those canvases, have like a little paint party going on in the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you do a black crayon resist on the bottom, you can actually do kind of some of that trees and things, and then let them do the tempera paint over the top or the regular paint over the top. You know, your crayons will resist it, so you can get that look.
Okay.
Yes, I am an artist.
That's fine. You telling us all something new. That's what we're here to learn.
Well, yeah. We'll go there. I got so many books on this. That's my background.
Okay.
I don't quite remember the names of everybody, but that's what I do.
So that's why these three pictures, you knew what to say with them, huh?
Yeah.
That's fine. Any other thoughts on the Starry Night? Okay. So classical music for the preschool years. Listen to the greatest composer of our time exposes children to the classical origins of music that have influenced musical trends over the course of history. A strong grounding in classical music gives a child a foundation from which to grow a long-term love affair with music of all kinds. By listening to classical music with children, we can promote both the general skill of listening and focusing using the ears instead of the eyes, and also the specific auditory skills required to recognize musical nuances such as rhythm, tone, tempo, and volume.
I have a great collection. It's called For Those Who Hate Classical Music, and it pulls out those, like Beethoven's Fifth, pulls out those specific music pieces that everybody loves.
Mhm.
And, you know, it's a great CD collection, and it just, you play it, and it's fun. They're little action ones, too. I mean, there's some calm ones, I mean, there's some motion ones you can do with them. But it's for those who hate classical music.
Yeah, classical, I think it's for, you have to have an ear for it, but at the same time, just to introduce our kids to other music besides the Greg and Steve types of music, we ought to play some. We never know who we're reaching.
They'll know some of the songs because a lot of our classical music is actually reflected in our today's music. It's reflected in, believe it or not, in a lot of ads play classical music background. And some of the, you know, some of the things are there. The tunes are there. The kids will pull them out for you if you play them. If you play Flight of the Bumblebee.
Oh yeah, I like that one.
You know, you know what is this, and the kids will know what is something else because it is used in our culture a lot. Other things.
Mm-hmm. So, movement to music allows a child to interpret music creatively and express their interpretation with their bodies. The gross motor skill that this develops are beautifully connected to the classical piece and allow a productive outlet for pent-up energies a child may need to express. Teaching children through the classical arts can encourage children to take risks. Using classical music to calm the mind. Chopin's Berceuse as only one example of classical music that succeeds in calming the mind. So you can use classical music to enliven the spirit. The Can by Offenbach, ideas to enhance classical music learning. Play the works of greater composers in the background during meals or driving or nap time. Mention the composer's name so that the child becomes familiar with it and connects that music with the composer. As I was saying just a little bit ago, we have to give it to them. We can't just put it on just because we want to put the music on saying we played some classical music. We have to actually talk about it. We have to play it more than just that one day. Play it throughout the day. Maybe one day you donate to classical music, different genre music every day. So that way they're getting it. Because I know I'm not a fan of classical music, but I know at the same time that kids need to be introduced to that. And teachers got to understand it's not about us, it's about the kids. Any thoughts on this?
I bet you know more classical music than you think you do, because it's, like I said, it's repeated in today's music a lot.
Probably so. I would not even doubt it.
And there's probably a lot of songs you like that are based on it. You just didn't realize it.
Yeah, that's a possibility. It just, when we hear classical music, we think we got to play Beethoven or what have you.
No, you think of the elevator music. No, not all classic music is not elevator music. I mean, have you guys ever done the Peter and the Wolf? Peter and the Wolf musical? It's all done by, the story is told by the instruments.
Okay.
Okay, look online, look YouTube, do Peter and the Wolf orchestra. It's the orchestra play it, and there's a person who tells the story as the instruments play.
Okay.
It's a really good one for kids to do. There's different versions of it. It's been around for years. I mean, the first time I ever heard it was in kindergarten. That was but it gets you, the kids learn the musical instruments and what they sound like. They don't have to see them, they just hear them. Like I said, each of the characters is an instrument.
Okay. Everybody get that. We have to check that out. Maybe introduce it another time. Keep that in mind.
Sorry.
You're fine. So we got to be thinking, how can you incorporate classical music into your setting? I want everybody to give me their thoughts. Miss Summer, you're first on my list for right now. So how would you incorporate classical music in your setting?
Setting.
I didn't hear you.
I mean, if you're gonna, what I would do personally would be go back to art. I mean, play classical music and let them paint to the music itself.
Okay. That could be a good one. Miss Emily, are you still with us? If you are, you can type your answer, and Sonia give it to us in a minute. All right, Miss Deborah.
Yeah, there's nothing you do with classical music. I mean, you can just play it in the background, or you can, like I said, there's a lot out there that actually you can do motions too. There's some that actually are stories. Pachelbel's canon. You guys also know that. That's the one they play at weddings. That has quite the march to it. There's marching ones. Classical just doesn't have to mean the old classics. There is the music, they're called screamers, and they were your band era. They played in marches, and they played them in circuses. The animals would dance to them, and they were different timings, and the kids love them.
Okay.
So, you know, there's more than just orchestra with the violin and the flutes. There's some other things out there to play.
Okay. Miss Lawana, when you get set up and ready,
Yes.
how would you do it?
I would do a little bit like she said earlier, for as the instruments, I would let certain kids maybe play or instrument or act like they're the instrument, or something like put on a band or put on an act or dance to it. You know, it's a different kind of dance that you would do, I guess, to a classical music instead of just see what kind of beat or movement they come up with listening to the beat. Is it a fast or can they go slow or however they would do it to feel the music?
Okay, so they invented it, that created it's in there.
Miss Emily said she typed during arrival because it's calming during nap. Play it during art time. So yeah, that's her suggestions.
Okay, good one. Brooke, you got anything?
Yeah, I was actually thinking, of course, nap with the babies, but I was also thinking about meal times when they're already sitting and you know they're concentrating on eating, so they're going to be more apt to listen. So
okay. And Miss Benyamin, I can't remember how to say your first name.
Halima.
Halima, okay. I was thinking that, but I didn't want to say it and be wrong. You got any thoughts?
Yes, I'll play that nap time.
Okay.
Because kids, you think they be asleep, but they actually listen a lot.
Yes.
You know, they're sleeping.
That is correct. So I'll see if I have anybody else that had joined us. Okay, and also I forgot to show these books while ago. We was talking about the classical art, actual art put in the classroom. Let me go back to myself so I can make sure y'all show. You have books that you can use that have pictures of artists where it's like this will say A Magical Day with Henry Matisse. It's a book about him and some of his drawings. You can just show the pictures. Y'all probably can't see it that well. I'm trying. And just go through to have words. You can read the story. And if you don't want, you just go by the picture. That way you have your language in there, you're talking, and you get an understanding of what his pictures look like. They'll have like the same concept. And also there's one called Van Gogh. Same concept with his pictures. They all have the same concept. Then you have Dancing with Degas. And then it's a Picnic with Monet. And these are all board books, and it's called the Mini Master sets. And I think we got them off of Amazon. Am I correct, Stacy G?
Yes.
Okay. And they come as a book set that you can get. And that's another way that you can introduce arts into the classroom. And that they can explore on their own just as well.
Emily also added that they do it during lunch for as they're transitioning to nap.
Okay.
So that,
Give them calm down.
Yeah, help them calm down.
Because you got some, don't play the bumblebee because I think that's a little fast, but you do have other that is calm and a little bit more quieter. Okay, we're going to listen to this one if y'all can hear it. It's Mozart. It's on the kids level. And also with this one, you're playing music to get them doing creative art and creative movement. You might can get scarves that you can get. They made from Oriental Trading, Amazon as well, just like the little thin scarves. And they can use it during their movement as well. So we're going to listen to this one. And these videos and songs did come off of YouTube. So this was Mozart, the Alla Turca Melody Street. Just let you listen to this one.
Rondo alla Turca. Cool. Why don't we play together, just like Mozart and Vladimir's violin? Ready when you are, Ethan.
See why it's playing? They could be moving their scarves.
Rondo alla turkey. Watch the turkey cross the road. I'll fix this. Here you go.
Okay, who enjoyed that little short clip of Mozart?
Yes.
Yes.
And see how something simple as this little short video can get them interested in the musical arts. Don't have to actually have Mozart playing in the background or have showing something where they're showing an actual picture of Mozart and they're telling them the story of Mozart. Because we know at age 3 and 4, are they really going to understand who Mozart is and what he did?
No.
So videos and little songs like this is something that you can use, excuse me, to get them interested in the music because it got a little playful tune to it. It got a little animation to it. And like I was saying, give them scarves and let them just have their way with it. Let them get involved. Got your movement, you got them settled, and you getting the classical music in there. And like I said, this video, it comes off of YouTube as well. So our closing thought for today. So learning to create and appreciate visual aesthetics may be more important than ever to the development of the generation of children as they grow up. The preschool years can be one of the most creative times in a child's life. While your child's imagination is still developing, drama, music, dance, arts, and crafts They can foster creativity, build your child's confidence, help your child express feelings and learn communication skills, help your child develop, practice, and improve coordination and motor skills, give your child a chance to practice decision making, problem solving, and critical thinking, help your child find new ways of looking at things. So do we have any questions or comments?
Emily said she loved it.
Thank you, Emily.
Lawana enjoyed it as well.
Good job,
Thank
Sarita.
you. Thank y'all.
It was an enjoyable, evening with other people.
Yes, embrace the monotony of having isolation.
I'm isolated. I'm talking to everybody. I haven't got my 1,000 words in yet.
So again, I would like to thank everyone for coming out tonight, and we hope to see you. I think Monday is our next class. Somebody correct me because I don't have my schedule.
Yeah.
Okay.
What time is Monday's class?
6:30.
6:30.
And it's called, which one is Joanna doing? Jump on the Bandwagon. Is that right?
No.
PCR. Jeff.
Excuse me. I think she's doing Beyond I'm Sorry.
Yeah,
Beyond I'm Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was Jump on the Bandwagon.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. But yeah, Beyond I'm Sorry, that's a good one as well, and it starts at 6:30 Monday.
Okay.
So we would love for everybody to come back out each day. We have our virtuals since we're unable to come out for face-to-face, and also take advantage of online training. You have all this free time, get your training in, so they come and say, have you done this, have you done that? Like, yes. You know, with my ladies, I'm getting virtual with my ladies. And then also nice to get to talk to somebody every day.
Yeah. You did a wonderful job. Thank you.
Thank y'all. And for those who are new to doing the virtual trainings, once you complete your review at the end, you have to have an access code to get your certificate. So make sure you take a picture of this number or you write it down. It's 0326.
Thank you.
You have to complete your review first, and then you put that code in, and you be able to get your certificate.
Miss Deborah, is that your bird or is that somebody's child?
That's someone's child. She's
Okay.
busy in the chair over here.
Okay.
Say hi.
I couldn't.
What do you say, Beaker? What do you say? Talk? What did I say?
So, Emily, do you have the number down?
Yeah, we do. I do, anyways.
I know Emily was another one. Let me see. Everybody else is still on.
Emily, and I think
Latoya.
Latoya was having some trouble
Yeah.
too.
Do we just leave the meeting then and we're done and then we go do our review?
Yes.
All right.
So, again, I want to thank everybody and hope to see y'all Monday.
Thank you.
Thank
All right,
you.
everybody have a good night.
Hi, ladies.
Latoya said she got it. I don't know about Emily.
Okay, she'll probably email me if she didn't get it. All right, thank y'all.
Bye.
Hi, ladies.
Bye.
Yes, she got it.
Okay.
Mhm.